I'm Jim Sullivan with your Sunday NeoWeather.com video forecast. As of 9:40 in the morning, we're all seeing snow across northern Ohio and across pretty much the whole state for that matter. Temperatures right around 20. Visibilities in some of this snow are getting down to a quarter of a mile, so it is snowing pretty hard. Youngstown Warren Regional Airport, they're right here, they're at 17 right now, reported an inch of snow in the 8 o'clock hours, so it is snowing an inch or so an hour in some spots, especially in those darker blues down along the Route 30 corridor. And looking at a traffic camera now, this is I-76 and I-77 in Akron. It's where Route 8 dead ends. You can see it's snowing fairly hard, reducing the visibility. The main highways are kind of slushy, so it's not too bad, at least on the main highways. But you're certainly going to want to allow for some extra time this morning because it is snowing pretty hard and the roads are getting kind of slick. Looking across the entire country now, because here at NeoWeather we love the whole country, not just Ohio. Not a ton going on. There's that little wave of snow moving through Ohio right now, and that'll affect parts of the mid-Atlantic later today into tonight. And there's another streak of snow stretching from Montana into Kansas, and that's going to affect parts of the Tennessee Valley into the lower mid-Atlantic tomorrow with some snow. And there's heavy rain and mountain snow going on in parts of the west. They need the rain out there. And for about the 10 millionth day this winter, it's very cold in the central U.S. Temperatures colder than 10 below in parts of the upper plains and upper Midwest. Coming back to Cleveland, looking at the numbers, yesterday we did 20 and 3, well below the averages of 36 and 23, not quite at the record low of minus 14. That's very cold. We saw 400ths of an inch of liquid at Hopkins yesterday. That translated into 800ths of an inch of snow through midnight. We're running above normal precip on the month and right around normal on the year. We're going to set the sun at 5:54 tonight. We're still gaining more than 2 minutes of daylight every day. All right, looking ahead now, this morning's area of snow, it'll last until around noon before it starts to dwindle, and we'll be just left with some snow showers by this afternoon and then some lake effect into tonight. You can see that little wave of snow rides by well to our south late tonight into tomorrow, and again, just some lake effect for us, and we'll look closer at that in a second. And as we head into tomorrow morning, you can see the lower mid-Atlantic might be getting some snow, Richmond Point south, so you'll need to keep that in mind if you're traveling to our southeast, although here, other than a little bit of lake effect, it won't be bad. All right, so talking about the lake effect that's going to linger this evening through tonight, let's take a trip down meteorology lane, aka make excuses, because that's how we roll in the weather business. Here's a look at Lake Erie as of yesterday, and it's not as clear as it could be. There were some high clouds, but it's pretty easy to make out that there's a huge crack in the ice east of the Lake Erie Islands. It's like 40 miles wide, and that crack extends along the lakeshore to near Cleveland. And then even elsewhere, there's some cracks in the ice. So this tells us that some heat and moisture should make it from the lake to the atmosphere tonight. However, when we look at what our computer models are showing tonight over Lake Erie, they actually don't show any additional heat or moisture coming up from the lake. Here's a look at the temperatures shown on one of our higher resolution models for the middle of the night tonight. You can see it actually shows temperatures a good 10 degrees colder over the lake than they are over land. That is wrong, so our models are essentially useless for tonight's lake effect. However, I do think there's enough ice that it won't be significant tonight, but I do think there could be 1 to maybe 3 inches in the snow belt, and we're just going to have to hope that forecast holds. So, at long last, here's your forecast for today. Snow this morning, tapering this afternoon, and just some lake effect left over by tonight. Maybe 1 to 3 inches from Cleveland and the eastern suburbs point east into the snow belt. Temperatures today might get into the mid-20s for a few hours early this afternoon before we start dropping again this evening. Lows tonight in the single digits. Total snow today 2 to 4, and then maybe another 1 to 3 in the snow belt tonight into tomorrow morning. All right, looking ahead on our upper air forecast charts, we start the work week cold, but there's some changes afoot, and we'll look at that in a second. No big systems after today. We're going to be more or less dry through about midweek. Now, as we head towards later in the week, about Wednesday, there's we're going to have to watch for snow in the mid-Atlantic because the models are tracking one piece of energy across the south. You can see the kink in the jet stream with another piece of energy to the north. If those two pieces of energy combine, which this particular model run tries to do, there could be some snow across portions of the deep south from northern Arkansas, northern Mississippi, northern Alabama, northern Georgia, into the interior Carolinas and Virginia, and possibly up the East Coast if this develops into a decent storm. So keep that in mind Tuesday through Thursday if you're traveling to our south and east. If this storm comes together, it shouldn't affect northern Ohio too much, although down along the Ohio River it might be closer. Now, if this particular storm develops, we'll pull in some cold by Friday or Saturday. If it doesn't, we'll probably be pretty mild. So we'll see what happens. Our models struggle with this, and I know you guys say, you guys always blame the models, but I cannot do infinite calculations on how the atmosphere will work in my head. I'm sorry. Maybe if I wrote it out, I'd be able to do it. I somehow doubt it. Either way, as we head into next week, and you can notice the deeper pinks in the temperatures here are confined more to the north of the Canadian border for the most part. We stay active in the next week, and you can see another little system riding by, but the bitter cold is more confined to our north. And let's take a look at Alaska. If you're a weather fanatic, you don't like seeing this big old polar vortex stretching from Alaska to off the west coast. You're getting flashbacks of the winter of 2011, 2012. If you remember, that winter didn't dump a whole lot of snow really on anyone because there's a huge vortex sitting here. When that happens, Pacific air tries to flood the country, and you can see warmer air moving into the west. Now, this particular configuration next weekend still isn't a quote-unquote blowtorch for Ohio, but it's definitely trending in a warmer direction. And I'm willing to say the week of February 17th, we'll get a 50-degree day. You can check me on that in a week and a half and let me know how it goes. All right, so on our 7-day, definitely no 50-degree days this week. That would be next week if it happens. Tomorrow, maybe some lingering lake effect flurries well east of Cleveland. I don't think it'll be significant tomorrow. Temperatures not even getting to 20. Tomorrow night, dipping below 0 for a lot of us. Tuesday again, in the teens for highs. Single digits Tuesday night. Wednesday, we start moderating. Thursday, I'm pretty confident will be a mild day, possibly pushing 40, maybe some snow or even light rain. Now, I think temperatures do start trending down a little bit next week, and exactly how fast they cool off is still in question because the models aren't quite sure how they want to handle that possible East Coast storm system Wednesday into Thursday. But for now, I left some snow chances in for next week and trended the temperatures closer to below normal. We'll go with that. All right. Again, I'm Jim Sullivan. Thanks for watching. Check us out again tomorrow.